This call is now being recorded. This call is now being transcribed.
Good afternoon, good evening. This is Ayshah Price, and we're here today in our fourth week of our business plan process. This class is called How to Start a Side Business, and I am with Loudoun County Public Schools working through the business process for our fourth week. And today we're going to talk more about the business plan process in detail. And then we are going to go over some content, and then you're going to have an opportunity to talk about your business plan with me, okay, and ask me any further questions that you have. Okay. Okay. And then I just want to make sure that you guys are still aware that all of your content is still in Schoology, so you can download this presentation when you're ready. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about is when you're a business owner and you have a business, individuals are going to be asking you a lot of questions, right? They're going to want to know, what is your business about? So the 5 main questions about your business: what is your service or product? Who is your target market? Where is your business primarily located? How much will your product or service cost? And why do consumers need your business? Now, we did talk about this in the beginning of the class a few weeks ago, but now that we've gone through the business process a little bit more, I just wanted to make sure that you can answer these 5 questions. So go ahead. You probably already have the presentation downloaded, but I wanted you to just take a few seconds to go ahead and answer these questions. So what is your service or product? All of you have already mentioned that to me. And then just go ahead and write that down. And then who is your target market? We talked about target market segmentation a few weeks ago in our marketing section of class. And we really talked about how we can target our customers based on the demographics, their geographic, their buying habits, which would be psychographic, the different characteristics that would entail their buying habits, and as well as what they prefer. Okay, so target market segmentation is very important, and we did develop some of those characteristics and outline them with our avatars. So go ahead and write down. You can write down the age of them. You can write down where they live, their locations, their occupation, and you want to write down their income. So there's a lot of different factors that we talked about with target marketing. We want to make sure that those individuals who want our product need our product. Okay. Where is your business primarily located? It could be online. It could be a storefront. It could be, we just want to know where it is. Okay. And when you do your business plan, they're going to ask you what's the physical address of that as well. And when you're registering your business, the IRS is going to want to know what the business location is as well. Okay. And then how much will your product or service cost? So we did talk last week about markups. We talked about the difference between the price versus costs. We know that cost is what it costs you to make the product, meaning what it costs you to run your business, as well as provide that service or create that product, whether you have shipping involved, whether you have direct labor, indirect labor, or materials. All of those factor into the cost. Okay, so we did talk about that. And then your markup is really that price you're going to charge your customer, really is that price, and then times 2, which would be your markup. Okay, there's also additional markup that you can do based upon how much the market will bear. And we talked about that a little bit in class. So you have to be able to identify what your product is and what your service is and how much it costs. Now, I don't suggest talking to individuals and just telling them, oh, it costs this and that, but you really need to know, right? You need to know that for your business plan, and you need to know that in order to make a profit. And why do customers need your business? There's so many times I go to networking events and individuals don't really answer that question. Some people don't know why someone needs your business. So, for example, why did I decide to be in business development for small businesses? I decided to be in business development for small businesses because when I started my small business, I had so many different resources that were just in different locations, and I didn't even know how to access them, and I didn't know the complete process. It was a learn by go. And I really felt as though other individuals were dealing with the same issue. And that is why I decided to make a class called Small Business, How to Start a Small Business. I also do a small business boot camp for business owners. And then I also work with business owners after they take the course, either if they do a workshop through my website or they do it through Loudoun County Public Schools. It's a way for me to help other individuals so that they can be successful. And I tell them some of the pitfalls and challenges that I went through. Okay. As well, when you're networking, remember we talked about networking and going to the different events, the Chamber of Commerce and different events, and networking with other investors and business owners and getting that mentor and being involved in your community. People are going to ask you these questions. So I really want to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what's going to, come with being a business owner and feel comfortable. And you can practice these in the mirror because these are questions that are going to be asked of you all the time. Okay. So we did talk about a business plan and what a business plan includes. And the whole point of this class really is so that when you're ready to move on to opening your business, and I believe most of you have already started the business plan, that you have some success and you realize that it's not an overnight process. We identified how long it can take to write the business plan. And, as long as you stay focused on that process and you obtain the resources that you need and you ask questions and you go out there and do that research and understand that you're going to have to hit all of these areas. So the business plan, we know, an executive summary, it's the first thing that an investor sees or that a bank sees, but it is also something that you create last. And the way you create that is based upon the other areas that we're going to complete for our business plan. The first thing we talked about in class, which was our mission statement. Having a mission statement for yourself and for your life is important. The mission statement really determines your values. It tells the customers, what you're going to be doing, what type of services you're going to be providing, and what's the importance. Why do they need your business? Okay. So having missions, your values, and your goals is always going to be the first part of that business plan. Because why would you be in business if you didn't have a mission? Who are you trying to reach? How many people are you trying to reach? What type of profit are you trying to make? What impact are you trying to make in your community, in your society, and in the world? That's what your mission is, okay? And we just need to know what it is. Company background. Company background is really just talking about who's in your business, the business format, the business model, how it's structured, the type of business entity you have. So we really need to have an understanding of what type of business this is, what's the service, what's the product, what is the outcome of the business, and what are the projections for the business, okay? Product description. It's a product or your service description. So it really outlines what you do for your client. And I would, in the business plan, it also asks you to list, a price list, to list all your services, your different products, and itemize them as well in that plan so that people have an understanding of what those are. Marketing plan. We talked about the marketing plan last week. Okay. Well, last week and the week before, and we understand the importance of marketing and targeting the correct clients and the clients that actually need your service, who want your service, who've been waiting for your service. Okay. And it's also based upon their value. It's consumers that value your product or your service. And you need to show them what's the benefit of having or utilizing my product or my service. And that's really what that entails, as well as some statistical information and data analysis of your market, historical trends, your SWOT analysis, which we go into later, but just going into the next one, which is your competitor analysis. Who are your competitors? Why are they good at what they do? Why are they not good at what they do? What do they offer to the market? What do they bring to the market? How much do they charge? What are their financials? You can go look on any public company has their public websites. required to show their financials, required to show their background, their mission, their vision, required to show their pricing and their price list. These all are public, it's all public knowledge, okay? Your SWOT analysis, we talked about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we identified that strengths and weaknesses are anything that are internal within your organization that you may have some control over. And when you identify a weakness, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't open the business. It just means you could find a way to counteract that weakness. Opportunities and threats those are external. Those are things that happen in the market, happen in the industry, happen in the world. And they create opportunities for you or threats, right? Some threats could be a barrier to entry because you may not have been in that industry for a long time, or the product or service is more new, but doesn't mean it's not needed. Okay, so we just need to identify what those are. Operations, we talked about your board of directors. We talked about the different individuals that are going to be on your staff, even if they're not going to be a huge staff. We talked about if you're going to have a wide or a slim, if you're going to have a wide or horizontal or vertical line of authority. It just depends on how you want to structure your business. Okay. I did talk about the importance of making sure that you have presidents and vice presidents, making sure that you have individuals who are going to be running the business on a day-to-day, but also those who are going to be able to man and take charge of the other factors of the business, like your financing, your marketing, okay, your production, your service line, okay, making sure your customers are serviced correctly. So there's your shipping, your labeling. So there's a lot of different pieces, but you can't do them yourself. So it's always important to have others. We talked about those can be others that are in your same industry, others who may just want to join, others who feel as though they understand your passion and they want to be a part of this process. And it may change, but making sure that you have the basics of the positions filled. Okay, so you're not going to be doing everything on your own, making sure you have an assistant, someone who's going to be there to run the business, even if you can't. That's the importance of that. Your financial plan. We talked about that last week. We also had Thomas talk with us. He was a guest speaker last week, and he talked about the importance of having a financial plan. We outlined different aspects of your financial plan. We talked about the pricing and the costing of your product and your service. Also, some of those back end costs that we don't think about, our operating costs, our overhead costs, right? We talked about that. We talked about the labor costs, how some labor is directly to the product of developing that product or that service, or the materials that are involved are also those direct materials to create that product. Okay, so we're really talking about what are those costs that the agency, that the company that you are going to incur in order to run your business, those overhead costs. Let's review some of the overhead costs, right? We talked about rent. We talked about some of our utility costs. We talked about our shipping and our supplies, and we talked about marketing. So there's a lot of different costs that you're going to incur in your business. So you just need to outline those, right? I showed you some different budgeting tools that I utilize. I've uploaded some on Schoolology, and they are mostly Excel documents. You can also utilize a software called QuickBooks. It's a great software. You can download it on your phone, and you can just input some of the expenses that you've already started incurring for your business. And we talked about the differences between the difference in your banking account that's for your business and a personal banking account, and your budget, and making sure that your budget for your business is outlined and detailed, and what those monthly expenses and costs are going to be to incur, as well as looking at quarterly some expenses, and then looking annually and really identifying what those charges are going to be over throughout the year, the 5 years and 10 years of your business. It's just a projection, okay? And some of that information could be based on historical data, could be also based on your competitors, and based on what the market is currently paying for those services or products, okay? And then your timeline. A timeline is just your projection for your business. So, you're starting your business at whenever you started it. And then what are your projections for your business? What are your goals for your business? Okay. How are your mission and values tying into the timeline? And what are the milestones that you have to meet in order to achieve those deadlines and goals for your business? How do you want your business to grow? Who do you want to reach? How many people do you want to reach each month, each year? How much sales do you need to stay afloat? What's your break-even analysis? And we talk about that. And it's really just looking at how much everything costs, your income minus your expenses, and then without your profit. So how much it is to run your business without a profit, right? With the taxes and all those things that you have to manage. But if you didn't make a profit and you just be at zero, what is that? What is that number? And that's really what a break-even analysis is. Okay, so and in order to make that executive summary, you have to do these other steps to reach that, because the executive summary, honestly, guys, it's just going back and looking at each metric of the mission, the company background, your product description, your marketing plan, your competitor analysis. It's just giving a summary. Okay. And you're going to put some statistics in there. You're also going to put the metrics and analysis that you found with your research, and those different things and your projections and your financial projections, your mission, your goal, and your vision, your competitor, your analysis of them, as well as your marketing target market segmentation plan and your product and development plan. So that's really just an executive summary. But in order for an investor to see, oh, do I want to work with this company or bank, to know, they are going to read your executive summary. It just highlights everything that's in the other sections of the business plan. And then other aspects that go into the business plan could be your financial calculations, your financial projections, your financial statements, if you already have your business running, and then resumes and any other company backgrounds they're also called appendixes. So those would go in there as well. Okay. We did talk about a little bit, there's a document that I was sharing. It's called 10 Steps on How to Start a Business. And you're really going through those different steps. But really, I just did this in a short breakdown for you, right? So the first idea that comes up when people want to start a business, they always say, what happens when your mind, why did you decide to start a business? Well, you came up with an idea. Okay. And then you came up with an idea, and then you researched the target market by the different segments we define, and you determined why those individuals need your product. And then you decided on the business structure that suited you, whether that's an LLC, a sole proprietorship, an incorporation, or a nonprofit business. Okay. Or it could be a limited liability partnership. So you decided those different factors. Then most people pick a business name and they start registering their business with the SEC, the State Corporation Commission, which we went to their website a little bit, and you'll get a SEC number. And every year you have to go back and register your business. For the first year, it's $100. After that, it's $85. Okay. And then that's just with your state of Virginia, so that they know you have a business. And then most people apply for the business license. You have to have a business license in your county. It has to be on your county courthouse record. So you go to your county website and you go and look, you search business, and you search business license, and there's an application online. You can upload it, pay, and then you make an appointment to go in for them to stamp your business license and for you to swear in that you're going to be a business owner and you're going to follow the bylines and guidelines of the county that you reside in. Okay. And I think that's about $10 to get a copy of that. If you don't want a copy, it just stays on the record of the county courthouse. Then most people decide to get their tax ID, or you can call it a EIN number. And you go to the IRS website to get that. And there is a section that says, would you like to register your business to get your EIN or your tax ID number? And that number is used when you go and get contracts, when you have customers and you're providing services for them and they're paying you. You definitely want to make sure that they know your tax ID number, because they are allowed to report any money that they spent for any business. and they will ask, the IRS asks, well, okay, you did a donation or you did business with this entity. What is the tax ID number? And when you want to contract with different agencies, you're going to need that as well. Okay. And then you see how number 7 says here, create your business plan. I tell people when I wrote my 10 steps, I actually put business plan on the second step because researching, in my opinion, is the first thing you need to do. I don't suggest anyone going to just registering a business and doing anything until they know that's what they really need to do in the market. Until the market says, hey, we need this. Because you don't want to waste your time doing this and then it's not profitable because it's not something the market needs at the time. That may be just at the time. Okay. All right. And then you want to complete all the sections of the business plan that we just went over. Establish your web presence with the website, your social media accounts. Okay. So that's the best thing you could start doing. And then when you talk about the website, really understanding, I would use a search engine that has their own customer service, that they can help you with the website builder. You don't want to have an unprofessional website. Even if you just have a landing page that talks about what you do and a little bit about who you are and your mission, vision, and goals, your pricing, have a section for pricing, have a section for people to reach you, contact you, and a section for people to pay and also register with you and meet with you. Because if you don't do that, you're really losing customers. The most important thing that people don't understand with a website is a website is designed to keep the individuals watching you, picking on your site multiple times. So as a social, as a person who has a degree in marketing, and someone who does a lot of influential impact in social media, I would say having a website as well as your social media accounts and really knowing how to utilize those accounts. We talked about that a few weeks ago in class, the importance of making sure your social media sites are designed to attract the customers that need you and that your content is relevant and that you're keeping up with the content and that you're posting at the times where people are visually there to see it and obtain the knowledge. If you don't do that, there will be no reason to create a social media account if you're not going to keep up with it. We did also talk about last week not having too many accounts, right? And too many things that you can't keep up with. So I'd rather you just have, one medium that you're going to reach everyone versus having multiple and reach no one. Does that make sense? Okay. Design a logo or a slogan. You want to have a marketing campaign. You want to make sure you understand what are the words and the buzzwords and the sites and visuals that entice your consumers. You want to do the research to understand who they are and really dig into those characteristics that we talked about. So that way you can reach your clients successfully and that they see you. Okay. Number 10, obtaining a separate business bank account at the bank. You have to, it's legally, you have to have your business separate than your personal account. And then also tying those accounts into whatever software you're going to use to manage your bookkeeping. You don't have to, I have an accounting degree, but you don't have to have an accounting degree to manage your business successfully, financially. There's so many tools out there that we talked about last week as well that you can utilize. And CRMs, systems, so customer relation management systems, they already can upload, the different receipts. They can upload when someone pays you and it sends you, mine sends me an itemized report. Each month it sends me a link and it says, hey, your report is ready for the month. And it shows me, who's clicked on my site. It shows me how much they paid me. It shows me everything, my transactions. It shows me my payroll. It shows me everything. So that way I know what's going on, right? And I'm getting these alerts from my account so I can see, okay, this got paid. Okay, this transaction was processed. Oh, someone paid me. Okay, great. And then, so I get that information through my CRM and through the software that I use. Seek help from a business mentor. I would be grateful to help you. I enjoy mentoring students. Thomas was a great mentor. I have Alex as a mentor. I have a lot of good mentors. I have a few mentors that are in my field or in different fields. Some of them I've met along the way through business networking. Some of them I met in my professional career, but in the government before I became a business owner, and they were very insightful for me. And so I always think about the knowledge they imparted in me, and I think about my clients, and I have clients that have been successful at what they do, and it's just because I like to take the time to understand what it is they want and help them. But you definitely need a business mentor. You need an accountant. You need someone who's going to do your marketing and help you, your IT for your website and for different products and services that consumers are going to be buying. Remember we talked about last week SIPOC, and that was supplier, input, process, output, and consumer. And it's really about how your product, you as a supplier, your product gets to the consumer and what's the process it takes in order to get to that consumer. And you just outline it. And on Schoology, I put a great diagram, a great video that you can do step by step that can tell you the different examples of the supplier input, process, output, consumers. And it goes based upon the different services. So it talks about if you are a manufacturer, or it talks about if you have a service. Okay, so you really want to think about that process, because, and you really want to flow chart it out, because what if something goes wrong in the process? What if a client doesn't get their product on time, right? Or what if the suppliers that you're purchasing from does not give you your product on time and you're not able to supply the product to your consumers? So you need to have a backup plan. And that's why you flowchart and outline what are the different processes it's going to take for me as a supplier to create, develop, market, outreach to get to my customer. Okay. And understanding being an attorney, you don't have to be an attorney. Okay. You don't have to be a tax accountant. You don't have to be a marketer. You don't have to be an insurance agent, but you need those individuals. They don't have to be on your payroll all the time. You can contract them out when you need them, and they'll send you a statement and invoice you, and you can pay them to do those services. But definitely need them at some point in your business more than you think. Okay. You're going to need advice. And we talked a little bit about the advantages of that. Distributing marketing materials and networking your product or to your target market. You also want to, follow up with individuals, meet with other individuals, having a system to do that. So it's always great to have an assistant to help you with that part of it, and making sure that, or your CRM, your customer relations management software, does a lot of that. And it tracks when you can upload all your contacts, and it tracks when your contacts have contacted you on your phone, when they email you, when they paid you, when you invoice them, or when you provided services to them. It does a lot of automation for you. So I wouldn't tell you to invest in a good CRM that you like. It also sends emails for you. It's just great. Okay. But really, networking there's a fine science to it. Okay. I put a little bit of notes here, and you need to make sure you network to your target client, right? Or network with other business owners. And they don't have to be in the same industry, or they could be in the same industry. And you let them know, I'm not competing against you. Okay. We are collaborating. We're working together, because having a business, it's different than you're sitting at your desk and working in that environment. The reason why is because people have a huge financial investment in their business. That intellectual property that we talked about, it has a high value. Okay. Most of the individuals that I come across have been experts in their field, or are venturing to a newer field, and they have product knowledge. They have knowledge of that field, and they really want to make a good product and a good service and provide that to the community. and they want to be compensated as well and be respected as a business owner because they put in a lot of time behind the scenes, sleepless nights and hours, time that you guys are putting in right now. You're not getting paid to write your business plan. You're not getting paid to sit here on the podcast with me on this workshop, but you see the value because it's intellectual property. So you're getting intellectual knowledge from someone else, but you're also putting that intellectual property into your business from yourself. So now the knowledge and the work that you put into this business has you place a value on that. And so you have to know what your value is. And when we talk about your product cost and your, how you're going to sell your product and reach your client, people don't want to charge it. But when you think about it, you have to pay yourself back for the work that you put into it, right? Because there are times where you may have gone months or years without getting a sale. So when you finally do get that sale, you want to make sure, or do get that customer or that customer contract, you want to make sure that contract is going to help your business grow and provide that profit that we talked about in the video last week. That profit is what pays your operating expenses, right? And is the money you invest back into your business. Okay. And that's intellectual property as well. Okay. So networking is so important. I suggest you signing up for the Loudoun Chamber of Commerce or Fairfax Chamber of Commerce. It's also a Dallas Chamber of Commerce. There's so many different chambers out there. I think there's a Black Business Chamber of Commerce now. I know a friend of mine who started that business. She doesn't own it, but she's actually she is on the board, and it's just a different environment. People like to talk about what they do. They like to share their knowledge, and they'd be more advantageous to work with you if you're just open and honest about what you do know and what you don't know. Lastly, getting funding and developing a budget. We talked about keeping everything separate, but really getting that funding. If you are interested in getting funding, I'm going to show you some websites, the SBA website, which we're going to go over. And that website talks about your business plan. It talks about funding. It talks about government contracting. So I'm going to show you guys that website after we take a break. But I wanted to highlight some of those things with you so that you can get a little bit more comfortability and understanding. Okay. What we're going to do now, we're going to watch a video, and the video is just going to talk a little bit about really the business plan process, and give you a little bit more comfortability with it and understand what the importance of it is. So I'm going to stop recording at this moment. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And if not, we are going to start the video. Thank you for your time.